There is an interesting saying, and it goes like people make habits, and habits make them. But we all have got the wrong idea of what habits are. We saw habits, they are nothing but the daily course, the daily activities that we do subconsciously without much mindfulness. But they have an overall greater impact on our lives, on others' life as well, on our society, on our future generation, or on our relatives. Now, what we are going to do in this video is we are going to tackle those bad habits and know how to eradicate them and inculcate the good ones in our lives. So here are the 5 things that you should do to eradicate those bad habits. Let's get started. Number 1 is to identify. We all struggle with identifying what our bad habits are. We often get confused if this is a bad habit or not. And even if we get to a point where we know that yes, this thing is bad, but we will convince our mind that what greater bad it can do. If I don't enjoy my life, what's the point? This is the logic that we give to our mind when we are indulged in any sort of bad habits. We associate every bad habit with enjoying life, and that is where we are wrong. Bad habits are not the way to life. There are various ways to enjoy life, but if you're enjoying life at the cost of your health, what does it mean? If you're saying that you are going to die after a certain age, why are you eager to die so young? Nice point. Now, so you must get to a point where you identify. When you write down what your bad habits are, it certainly gets very much easy to eradicate them. Number second is accountable. If we confess anything to somebody, there is a likely 60 to 70% chance that we are not going to do or you are going to do certain things. So if you confess your bad habits to your close ones, to the ones that you can freely talk to, like your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your parents, your friends, it becomes much more easier to eradicate those bad habits. The next time you are going to get indulged in those bad habits, your subconscious mind will remind you that this is a thing that you actually told someone to, and you are less likely to do that activity. Because of that millisecond thinking process, you are going to save yourself. Number third is rebuild. Now that we have stopped ourselves from pursuing those bad habits, it's actually very important that we re-identify ourselves, give ourselves a new identity that we can associate with. What these habits do, they basically become a part of our identity. What we are fixing here is our identity. If we try to associate new identity with ourselves, because after eradicating those bad habits, there is a void, there is an empty space that we have created, and we need to fill that with the good ones. That is what we are going to do. We are going to associate new identities to ourselves. Like, for example, if you are a lazy person, if you used to wake up at 10 or 11, you have to associate this identity that you are an early riser. You have to speak this continuously in your mind for the next 10 or 15 days that you are an early riser, you wake up early, and you feel refreshed, rejuvenated. That's what you're gonna do. If you struggle with studying, just speak to yourself that yes, you are very good at studies, you're excellent at studies, you get A plus grades. Even if all of this is not real, even if this all of this is imaginary, you are going to say that. Because there's a principle which says fake it until you make it. Once you start convincing your mind that yes, you are this kind of a person, you are going to get to a point where you actually become that person, and it actually works. Now, if you found something of any value till this point, do consider subscribing to my channel and hit that bell icon. Number 4, sustain. Making resolutions is easy. The new year is around the corner and we all are like very pumped to make new year resolutions and all of that. But to sustain, what we are going to do is give up. No, now don't get me wrong. I'm not saying to give up entirely. We have to give up for just one day. All that struggle that you have been through to inculcate those good habits for the past 2 to 3 days, just give up, relax for one day. Now, here's where the magic happens. That one day, you are going to do every sort of activity that you like to do. You don't consider it bad or good. Do whatever. Just do that in that one day. But listen, that will be a point where you will actually realize, where you will actually figure out things. You will get the contrast between your higher self and between your lower self. You will get a realization the guilt, the shame. You will feel all of that. And that is what required to bring about the actual change in any human being. Number five, enjoy. Now, the psychology behind the bad habits is that it's pleasurable. It is so much comforting, cozy, it's an another level feeling. All these adjectives that I used for the bad habits, we are going to use it for the good habits as well. We are going to make those good habits feel that cozy, that comfortable, that pleasurable, that we don't find any need to go to those bad habits.
जूम ठीक है जूम में अरे जूम में बहुत सही आ रहा है